ஹாய் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ், வினோதம் டிவிக்கு லைக் பண்ணுங்க, கமெண்ட் பண்ணுங்க, ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க, அப்படியே மறக்காம சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணிடுங்க.
Welcome back to Vinodam TV. Today we are going to interact with Dr. Vivek from Enapoya Homeopathy Medical College, Mangalore. Hello, Dr. Vivek.
Hello everyone, I am Dr. Vivek R, working as Associate Professor in Enapoya Homeopathic Medical College, Karnataka.
As we know, whole India is suffering from COVID. In this situation, what kind of precautions we can take? How we can protect ourselves from COVID?
So yes, we are all in a pandemic situation now, and the situation is very difficult now. Everybody knows that the lockdowns, the far away from home, then the away from usual situations. So everything is creating so much of toll in all of the people. So we need to adjust accordingly. So first basic thing is prevention is better than cure. So we always have to try to prevent the condition before it comes to us. So everybody knows these things, but still I'm again insisting the same things because these things are the vital things in prevention of this COVID disease. First thing is usage of masks, then avoid crowds, follow social distancing, then use hand sanitizers as and when required, and avoid outside travel as much as possible. So these are the first measures to be taken for prevention of COVID-19. Then apart from that, maintaining our health is also very important in this regard. So apart from preventive aspects, we need to do some proactive things to maintain our health. Health includes both our mental and physical health. Most of the times, when we speak of health, people always consider only the physical health. So it is wrong in such a sense. So health includes both the mind as well as the body. So we need to keep both our mind and body fit. Then only we'll be having better immunity than the normal people. Okay. So what things do we need to do to maintain this health? So proper exercise for the physical body and also exercise for the mind. Some sort of exercise, including reading good books and seeing good things, hearing good things, then meditation. Such things can help you to keep out of the affection with COVID. The most common problem nowadays is too much news about COVID. It creates a sort of negative feeling inside our mind. This itself creates a way for the COVID to affect us. Fear is the worst enemy in this present time. Fear itself invites the disease. So it acts in indirect ways. Fear affects the mind and mind affects the body and it lowers the immunity. And so definitely COVID will be invited into our body. So to avoid all these things, it is as much as important as keeping our physical health fit. So from now on, see that you are keeping your mind also fit. Avoid unnecessary hearing of news related to COVID because nowadays the media is completely flooded with all news about COVID. Yes, knowing certain things is very important, but not like too much news is required. Maybe once or twice you can see the news per day and see a lot of good things in the media. Nowadays people are too much into social media, including YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. So in these things, try to see the good things. Okay, try to learn good things. So we always say an idle mind is a devil's workshop. In the current pandemic time, during the current lockdown, many people may have lost their jobs. Many people may be free from their usual job. So during these days, try to use your mind in the right way. Try to learn something new. Try to interact with people with good heart and good intentions. Try to help others. These things will try to keep your mental health fit. Okay. So these are some things, some suggestions I would wish to give you to maintain health in the mental state, also in the physical state. Okay. So if you do these things, your immunity will be maintained. So apart from this, you also need to follow the COVID appropriate guidelines. Also healthy diet. I need not insist upon that. Everybody knows that the current time having a healthy diet is very appropriate. So do not go into fast food binging. Do not eat too much of unnecessary snacks. Limit your food because now currently the activity has reduced. So accordingly, you need to cut down your food also. I'm not telling that you need to fast, but definitely you need to have a regular diet and proper nutritious diet, which is very much essential for the health and immunity. Okay. So I think this will give some idea on what things we should do to prevent ourselves from getting affected with COVID-19.
Nowadays, many were saying there are different stages of COVID. Which stage of COVID is dangerous and which stage of COVID can be treated by home quarantine?
And generally speaking, people have classified it to mild, moderate, severe, and very critical stages in stage of when I speak about the COVID stages. When we speak about home quarantine or like self-isolation protocols, maybe mild and sometimes very moderate cases can be considered for self-quarantine and home treatment itself. But word of precaution, definitely be careful. If there are any signs of critical or serious symptoms, then definitely you have to approach the doctor so that we avoid all such complications. The major problem with people nowadays is they always approach the doctor once the disease has advanced so much. So when the oxygen levels have dropped down to like 80%, SpO2 has come down to 80% or like 70%, this times the availability of oxygen beds are very less. So at this critical moment, it is very difficult to find the beds. So don't wait till such moments. In the initial stages only, if you are seeing some sort of worsening of the disease, then definitely approach the doctor immediately. Do not waste any time. Okay, there is no use of regretting later. So initially only, if at all there are any signs of serious illness, then definitely approach your doctor. Okay, so if at all the disease is very mild or like kindly asymptomatic, maybe you had incidentally tested, so because some of your known person has got tested positive, then you are found to be positive without any sort of symptoms, then probably you can be at home at self-quarantine and take appropriate suggested medications, then proper diet and proper rest. And with this, I hope you'll be all better. But when the stage is like mild fever is there, then you have to be a little precautious. Okay. You need not be in a panic, but still you have to be constantly in a constant watch. If at all the oxygen levels, SpO2 levels are dropping down more than like 95%, then do not wait. At least consult a doctor before you are considering yourself for a home quarantine. So my suggestion will be, whether it is a mild case or a moderate case, definitely be in contact with a doctor. At least if at all the telemedicine guidelines allow, then just consult your doctor through telemedicine, through your WhatsApp or like video conferencing. Get some opinion with the doctor. Then you can do your self-quarantine. Because many of the people who are afraid of this hospital setups or like who are afraid to approach a doctor thinking that it is some sort of jail or something, these people tend to self-quarantine, self-isolate themselves and treat themselves with over-the-counter medications or get some medicines from the pharmacy. And once the stage is crossed and once the complication starts, then they approach the doctor when it is difficult both for the doctor and also for the patient. So do not wait till such a stage is my humble suggestion. So when it is very mild, yes, of course, even then you have to consult a doctor before you take yourself for a self-quarantine. So to answer your question, we generally classify it to mild, moderate, severe, and very critical stages. This asymptomatic and mild cases can be considered for quarantine. Other cases, I would suggest to consult a doctor before taking any opinion.
Can we provide homeopathy treatment to a critical patient affected by COVID, and patients who needs oxygen support can also be treated in homeopathy?
A good question. To answer it frankly, we do have options, but the current guidelines of the government doesn't allow treatment of serious COVID cases or severe COVID cases with homeopathy. So currently they are allowing asymptomatic and mild and very moderate severe COVID patients to be treated with homeopathic medications. So to be frank, the government has not given the permission to treat severe COVID cases with homeopathy. But the mild and moderate cases can be treated with homeopathy because the government has allowed us and given us permission to treat such cases.
How does COVID spreads generally, and how the symptoms of COVID starts, how it affects our body?
So when we speak about who gets infected, so two things are there. the person and the environment. So these two things needs to be carefully studied to understand why it spreads to some people and why it doesn't spread to some people. So for this, I think we need to have a basic understanding about what is health. Okay, so everybody defines health in their own way, but as homeopaths, we do define it in a different way, and we see health in a very different way. We define health as a harmonious functioning of the mind, body, and the vital energy which operates us. So this is what is our definition of health, what is explained in homeopathy. So for to tell a person to be healthy, we need to maintain all these three things in a harmonious way or in a balance. To be in a simple terms, we need to maintain the balance between the mind, the body, and the vital energy, which gives the energy to operate. So this is about the person, individual. So next thing comes to the environment. A person can maintain all these things in a harmonious and balanced way, but if at all the environment is not balanced, then again there is a high chance that the person will get affected. So to avoid getting infected, we would recommend to maintain both these things, to maintain the balance between both these things. Both the health of the individual is important, also the health of the environment is important. By meaning environment, I mean the surroundings. First things is hygiene. Maintain proper hygiene. Keep your surroundings neat. Avoid clutters. Avoid garbages near your home. Do not allow pests like rats or like fleas or like mosquitoes to breed near your home. So maintain this in your environment. Maintain a healthy condition in your environment. Then also maintain a healthy state in your body and in your mind. By maintaining those two things, we can at the maximum avoid getting infected. But sometimes people do get infected. When such infections come, it is mainly because of the person's immunity. So we cannot expect everybody's immunity to be very high because we are all made of different structure. We are all having different kind of structure, different kind of function, different kind of mental attitude and behavior and character. Everything has an effect upon us. Even the environment, even our surroundings, even the people who are surrounded to us, even our occupation, everything is having an influence on us. So definitely each person is going to have different sort of immunity levels. So the second suggestion would be to treat at the level of environment. So first point for people who are having lower immunity levels or who suspect that they are in high chance of getting infected, definitely avoid going to crowded places. Avoid unnecessary travels. Do not go for weekend rides unnecessarily. When lockdown is there, support the government. Be at your home. Do all your work at home. If you are feeling bored, go to your terrace, walk for some time, then come back to your home, do your other works. So keep yourself engaged, but avoid going to the crowds, shops. Do not touch unnecessary things outside. Do not go and pick up waste masks. Recently, I've seen a person who was using this used PPE kits, thinking that it is fun to use such things. No, do not do such things. Whenever you identify any medical waste anywhere, do not go and touch it or do not try to dispose it with your own hands. Okay, so such precautions I think will help you to keep away from getting infected with COVID-19. So places to avoid, do not go anywhere will be my suggestion. Unnecessarily do not go anywhere. Only if it is required, then go. Try to opt for delivery options like door delivery options for food if you're ordering for food. If at all, if it is very urgent, otherwise opt for door delivery of this groceries. So this will be my suggestion. And my suggestion will be to avoid going anywhere unnecessarily.
இப்போ வந்து கோவிட்ல வந்து டெஸ்ட் வந்து ஸ்வாப் டெஸ்ட் வந்து எல்லாருக்குமே எடுக்கிறாங்க. இது வந்து ஒரு அலோபதி சம்பந்தப்பட்ட ஒரு மெடிக்கல் சம்பந்தப்பட்ட மெடிசின்ஸ் இதுல வந்து எடுக்கிறாங்க. அவங்க சைடுல தான் எடுக்கிறாங்க. இதே மாதிரி ஹோமியோபதியில வந்து டெஸ்ட் பண்றதுக்குன்னு தனியா எதுவும் முறைகள் இருக்குதா இந்த கோவிட் சம்பந்தப்பட்டது இல்ல எல்லாருக்குமே ஜென்ரலாவே இந்த ஒரே டெஸ்ட் தானா?
Yeah. Regarding the tests, laboratories, it is common for any science of medicine, including Ayush or allopathy, like Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, homeopathy. So whatever medicine system it is, these laboratory tests are common for all the systems. So we can use the same thing, and we are using the same laboratory tests for confirmation of COVID-19. Mostly we recommend RT-PCR test to confirm the positivity or negativity of COVID-19. Yes, it is common for everyone.
இப்போ இந்த கொரோனானால பாதிக்கப்படுறவங்களுக்கு வந்து ட்ரீட்மெண்ட்ஸ் வந்து கொடுத்துட்டு இருக்கிறோம். இது மேக்ஸிமம் ஆஃப் டைம் ஒரு எக்ஸ்ட்ரீம் லெவலா இருந்தாலும் சரி, இல்ல ஒரு நார்மல் லெவல்ல இருக்கறவங்களும் சரி, எத்தனை நாள்ல இந்த வைரஸ் வந்து நம்ம உடம்புல இருந்து அழியுது?
Yeah. So this is the ongoing debate in the medical community now. The question is very difficult to be answered. Exactly when does the virus leave our body cannot be predicted exactly, because it depends on the individual personality or individual immunity. We commonly expect in case of mild cases from the start of the symptoms, by within 2 weeks, like 14 days, we are expecting the virus to leave the body. So this is on an average, but it can vary. For some people, it may go a little early. For some people, it may take a longer time to leave the body. And it totally depends on the immunity of the individual, which decides when the virus will be completely leaving the body.
சில பேர் வந்து சொல்றாங்க, நாங்க ஹாஸ்பிட்டலுக்கு போய் 3 நாள்ல கியூர் ஆகி வந்துடுறோம், ஒரு 6 நாள்ல கியூர் ஆயிரும், இல்ல ஒரு 1 வீக்ல வந்துடுறோம் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரிலாம் சொல்றாங்க. அது வந்து எப்படி வந்து அது வந்து அதனுடைய ஸ்டேஜ் வந்து நீங்க எப்படி வந்து சீக்கிரமே கியூர் ஆகுறது, கொஞ்சம் டிலே ஆகி கியூர் ஆகுறது, அந்த வைரஸுக்கு அந்த வைரஸோட தன்மை அது எப்படி இருக்குது?
Yeah. So as I told you, it definitely depends on the individual. When the individual's immunity is well, when the physical body is like fit, then most probably he is going to get recovered very fast within 2 days or 3 days. That's what is seen even in the mild cases or asymptomatic cases. By using the word cure, they usually mean the time period which it takes for the disappearance of symptoms. The symptoms usually get disappear within 3 days or 4 days in case of mild cases and moderate cases. Yes, but it definitely takes a lot more time for the virus to leave completely. So this is where many people do the mistake. Within 3-4 days, the fever will be completely all right, and people think that they are completely relieved of corona and they start traveling out or moving out. So this is a big mistake. People should not do that. At least for 14 days, do not go out. You may be a carrier, who knows? You may not have any symptoms. Your symptoms would have gone. You are having a good immunity. But when you are going out unnecessarily, you have a high chances of spreading it to the other people. So what I tell is the symptoms may get improvement within 3 days or 4 days. It is basically because of the individual person's immunity and health status. So yes, it happens. So for some people, it is getting improved within 3 days or 4 days. The symptomatic improvement is there within 3 days or 4 days. Yes, they are having good immunity. But for some people, even after 1 month, the symptoms are still persisting. So both these sides are definitely to be considered.
Now we are undergoing second wave of COVID, as we see many variations in this second wave, like many were affected by breathing issues. So what kind of precautions can be taken to prevent ourselves from this and from third wave of COVID?
So if I start speaking about the third wave, I think people are going to get panic. So we don't know whether the third wave is going to come. So if I tell anything out of imagination, it is going to cause unnecessary confusion with the people. So the things which we need to consider for getting a prevention or like avoid getting infected with COVID is the same. We need to maintain our health. 2 things, as I told you. We have to maintain our individual health and also maintain the surrounding health, environment's health. By meaning individual health, I mean health at the level of mind, body, and the vital energy. So I think homeopathy will have a better option here to keep your health very fit, because homeopathy is a system which aims at keeping all these 3 things in balance. Because most of the times in this present today, whenever people think of health, they speak only about the physical health, and they go to the doctor only when they feel their physical body is sick. Sometimes the reason for the sickness of the physical body itself is in the mind, but people are not so aware of it. And even if they are aware of it, generally the modern physicians, they don't give so much importance to the mind. For example, I'll tell you, the common gastric ulcer, one of the important causes of gastric ulcer is stress. But how many times when new people visit a modern physician, how many times they give so much importance to the stress factor and try to correct it? Sometimes the stress needs some medications, but people visit a psychiatrist only when it is far beyond their control. So this is the difference between homeopathy and allopathy. In case of homeopathy, we consider the mind of all patients who are visiting us. Without considering the symptoms of the mind, we will not be able to prescribe for any single individual. So for to prescribe the medicine, we definitely need the symptoms of the mind and also the symptoms of the body. And to tell more precisely, when 10 people are affected with a common disease, consider for example, 10 people are affected with gastric ulcer, the medicines for all the 10 people may be different. We give importance to the individual characteristics of the person, which gives rise to such a complaint. Everybody who is under stress is not developing a gastric ulcer. Why is it happening? What is that which individualizes them from other people? Yeah, so we consider these individual differences and then only we prescribe the medicine. So automatically the mind is also corrected with our medicines, the physical body is also corrected with our medicines, and so cure in an exact sense is the aim of homeopathic treatment. So why I am telling this much is everybody's health cannot be maintained very easily by just doing exercise and proper diet, because most commonly people are having some or other chronic disorder or disease, and most people will be already taking some treatment, maybe allopathy or whatever. So for these people, my suggestion will be to try homeopathy so that health will be happening at the level of mind, body, and also at the level of the vital energy. So to answer the question, you asked how to prevent ourselves or protect ourselves from the third wave of COVID. So the same thing, maintain your health in balance, maintain your environment in a proper way. So maintain these two things, then definitely you'll be protected against COVID-19.
We see many people were died after recovered from COVID. How COVID affects our body, as even after recovered from COVID, people were dying due to other issues.
So this is the biggest problem which we are facing now. And the medical community is also starting to see such complications nowadays. It's becoming very common now. So this we call it as the post-COVID syndrome. Many people get recovered from COVID, but suddenly dying due to some various complications. It can be an extension of this COVID disease itself, or maybe totally unrelated other systemic illness which already patient was suffering from. So either ways, this definitely the COVID-19 after effects are having some complications. So once a person recovers from COVID-19 disease, then many of the people are complaining about some remnant symptoms. Remnant symptoms mean some symptoms which are persisting even after the disease is gone, even after the virus has left the body, still some symptoms are persisting. The most common symptom which many people complain of is fatigue, or commonly we call it as a general weakness or tired feeling. The inability to do our exercises or do our work in a usual way. We are feeling like so tired all the time. So this is what the medical community has found to be the most common complication of this post-COVID situation. Then apart from that, breathlessness. Some people experience this breathlessness or like joint pains. And most commonly the cough which is coming from the chest or from the throat and pain in the throat. So these are some of the common symptoms which is present even after the person has recovered from COVID disease. Not only with COVID, many of the times if a person recovers from a viral illness, sometimes they develop these complications, or like some of the after effects of the disease will be remaining there for a long period of time. So in COVID-19 also, this phenomena is very commonly seen, and they just call it as the post-COVID syndrome. And sometimes, most of the times, it gets recovered within 3 weeks or maybe 4 weeks, or maybe even after 12 weeks. Up to 12 weeks, it is okay. But for some people, it persists even after 12 weeks. So then we have introduced a new terminology called as long COVID in these patients. We call it as long COVID haulers. So this is what is the name the scientific community has kept for these sort of conditions, which continue to persist even after 12 weeks of recovery from the COVID disease. So symptoms are very variable. The symptoms can be as mild as a simple cough, a continuous cough, or can be a simple joint pain, or simple muscle ache, or a simple fatigue, a sort of tired feeling. Can be ranging from as simple as these mild symptoms to multi-system inflammatory syndromes, which can be life-threatening. So it varies. Again, it depends on the individual person, the status of the person's health, the status of the person's immunity. So all these things will decide how the COVID disease will progress. Means how the resolution of the COVID will be happening. So why these things are persisting like this is the next question. So the answer will be the COVID disease is giving a heavy toll on the organs of the body, mainly the lungs. It is producing an insult on the lungs. It is producing a sort of wound, an injury on the lungs. So this injury will definitely take a little longer time to get recover completely. So this is the reason why most of the symptoms related to respiratory system like lungs or like throat is persisting. So apart from that, even symptoms related to the gastrointestinal tract like nausea or vomiting, frequent loose stools or gastric abdominal pain. So these things are also reported once the person gets recovered from COVID. So there is no particular pattern in which the symptoms are seen. It probably affects a wide range of system. It affects different parts of the body in different individuals based on their individual constitution. So the most common symptoms are, as I told you, fatigue, then cough, then joint pains, then muscle aches, then cough on, then difficulty in breathing in some people. And sometimes there is one more complication, which is reinfection. And people have to be very careful about this. Sometimes people think that, yes, once the COVID is recovered and these symptoms are just remnant symptoms and it will go away by itself. But we have to be little cautious about whether the person has got reinfected. Sorry. So to know whether the person has got reinfected, we have to be little cautious when we get symptoms like fever, relapsing fever, or a fever which is again above 100 degrees. When such things come back, even after the person has recovered from COVID, then we have to be little suspicious, and maybe we have to do another testing, or we need to have another consultation with the doctor to just verify whether it is a reinfection or just a normal issue. And also with this COVID, the immunity is also getting affected. Sometimes the immunity becomes very low after the COVID has affected an individual. So that is the reason why people get other infections, other opportunistic infections like fungal diseases or like other bacterial infections. So these are other possibilities. So definitely, even after a person has got recovered from COVID, a person has to be careful not to get infected with other things, because already the body is weak, because just now it has sustained an injury and it is still in a recovering phase. And when another insult is again added on, then it becomes even more difficult for the body to recover again. So this has to be a point which has to be noted. Whenever there is a relapse of symptoms, when fever becomes high again, once the fever was completely all right, then again suddenly the fever has increased. So be a little suspicious and definitely visit the doctor at this point of time. Also, one more possibility for this occurrence of other symptoms is because of medications. there is another possibility because during this treatment of COVID-19, different kinds of medicines are used. For example, even steroids are used and even blood thinners are used for the treatment. So because of these things, some problems can happen. Even though not in all the people, some people can get some problems related to these things. And especially when people have taken steroids and who are known to be diabetic or have been induced to be a diabetic or new diabetic, then definitely they need to take care. They definitely have to be in contact with a physician. Sometimes insulin is suggested to them, and they have to be constantly monitoring their sugar levels so that they can vary or change the doses accordingly. Sometimes what people do, they start the insulin and then they just continue just like that. So it is problematic. They should not do it. When the physician advises it for just 1 week, then definitely follow it till then. Then go to the physician again. Visit the physician again, confirm whether any change in the dose is required or maybe any tapering is required. So in such cases, they have to be a little careful. Otherwise, what happens? Hypoglycemia can happen, and again, it is going to complicate the situation. Also, people who are not on insulin, who had used steroids, probably there is a chance that your sugar levels may be slightly higher. So in such conditions also, we have to see that we avoid taking too much of sugars so that we avoid getting infected with other things. Also related to the gastrointestinal tract, some complications can happen due to prolonged use of these allopathic medicines. So again, use foods which are mild to the stomach. Do not use heavy foods. Do not eat heavy foods. Do not eat too much of fried items. Do not eat too much of snacks. Eat only healthy diet, proper diet. If at all you are like feeling less hungry, then eat your food at correct time, even though it is minimal. Split your food into different timings. Maybe your 3 foods can be split into 5 times and can be had. So proper hydration is another aspect. So this is one another reason for some symptoms which are happening after the person has recovered from COVID disease. So one is the natural progression of the COVID, the resolution of the COVID disease, the immunity is regaining itself. So this time it takes a lot of energy for the immunity to build itself back again. So this is the reason for the symptoms, some symptoms. And related to the lung symptoms, already so much of injury to the lungs has been happened. So definitely it will take some time for resolution. Sometimes even there is possibility of lung fibrosis when the COVID is not controlled at right time. So in these cases, the cough may persist. Sometimes it may also lead to bronchiectasis or other conditions related to the lungs. So this is all basically because the lungs is heavily affected with the COVID. So these are two prime reasons. One is the natural resolution of the disease, then can be due to the medications, or the third reason can be an already existing comorbidities. People who already have complaints like diabetes or hypertension or other cardiac complaints or other systemic illnesses like rheumatoid arthritis, these people, once they recover from COVID, it may worsen their already present situation, and so it may produce some symptoms. And the last reason why these symptoms are there may be related to the psychology. The person was admitted in the hospital, and prolonged time in the hospitals would have weakened the physical body's activity. And so these may, some general aspects, these could also lead to some symptoms. So apart from these, the psychological trauma is very important, which is less spoken nowadays. It is very important to speak. A person who has got, yeah, a person who has got affected with COVID-19 usually suffers a lot mentally. They have a lot of anxieties, they have a lot of fears. What is going to happen to them, whether they'll be alive or dead. Seeing a lot of news in the TV, they imagine a lot of things. And even after the corona has left, even after COVID has gone, they still have their anxiety left. They feel so much anxious of what is going to happen, whether some things will happen. For people who are like naturally having this anxiety, they will have this enhanced so much that they will think a lot of things inside their mind. They'll feel as if they, even for a simple cough, they may feel that the disease has still come back again, so may lead to some complications. So this is another reason why the complaints are persistent. So if at all we are taking care of all these things properly, then we can cut short the complications and we can cut short the suffering. So here my suggestion is definitely have a visit. If at all you are having some persistent symptoms, definitely have some fixed visits to the physician, or at least through the telephone, and to have clarifications with them whether to continue the medications or to change the medications or to get any advice. So with this, we can avoid deaths once the COVID has recovered.
COVID vaccine safe for everyone? Who should not take COVID vaccine?
So related to the COVID vaccine guidelines, government has given very clear guidelines. Almost everybody can take. There were so many questions related to whether diabetics can take or hypertensives can take, but government has clearly told that all these people can take. Only people with allergies, non-possible allergies, may consult a physician before taking the dose. Apart from that, what the government tells is there are no much complications, so anybody can take it.
How homeopathy treatment is provided to COVID patients, both in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka? Tell us about the homeopathy camps and homeopathy COVID recovery percentage.
So coming to homeopathic treatment for COVID, already in the previous video, I have told about the guidelines given by government, Ministry of Ayush, related to treatment of COVID with homeopathy, along with other systems of medicine, including Ayurveda and Unani. So regarding prevention, homeopathic medicine named Arsenicum album 30 is being used, which is being advised by government also. It has to be taken for 3 days continuously in the empty stomach in early morning, and then it has to be repeated after 3 weeks. 3 doses for 3 consecutive days, and has to be repeated after 3 weeks. So this is what the government has given the guidelines for prevention. Then regarding treatment, the government has allowed for treatment of mild and very moderate COVID, asymptomatic, mild, and the beginning moderate COVID is allowed to be treated with homeopathy. In Tamil Nadu, already the state government has given the permission for homeopathic medical colleges to start their COVID treatment centers only for the mild cases, asymptomatic and mild cases. So people are reaching to it, and definitely there is a good improvement as for what I hear from the treating physicians in those colleges. Good improvement is seen, and people are starting to come to homeopathy. People have started knowing the good effects or advantages of taking homeopathic treatment. The main advantages being holistic treatment. In homeopathy, we don't treat for individual organs, or we don't treat for individual disease, or we don't aim at the COVID. We aim at improving the person's immunity. So definitely there will be overall immune response. Definitely their immunity will be better. Definitely the response from the patient also will be better. And so the recovery rate will be faster. So this is what is the common ideology with homeopathy. For treatment of any disease, we homeopathic physicians aim at improving the patient's energy levels or immunity. And we don't aim on killing the bacteria, because in the modern medicine, whenever any bacteria are affecting any individuals, they give antibiotics. It is to kill the bacteria. In case of homeopathy, we aim at improving the person's immunity levels or energy levels, so that the person's immunity naturally improves the condition or removes the bacteria. So we have such holistic concept of treatment. Also, we give importance to the mind, and also we give importance to the physical symptoms, and we individualize each of the patient. For even corona or COVID, when 100 people are coming to take homeopathic treatment, the medicines may be totally different. Whereas in case of modern medicine, the medicines are very limited. Only 4 or 5 medicines are exactly indicated, especially in the treatment, the protocols. Very commonly 5 medicines are indicated. and most of these same medicines will be used in most of the people. This is what is the ideology there. But in case of homeopathy, for each of the individual, the remedy may be totally different, because we consider the individualized symptoms of the mind and also individualized symptoms of the physical body. For example, two persons suffering with COVID, when we compare, one person may be feeling too much weak physically, and he may feel like always sleeping, whereas another person may be having continuous cough, dry cough. And so here both the medicines may be totally different. And one person may have a lot of fear in the mind that something is going to happen. And another person will be like, I want to go out and do my job. So here both the medicines will be different. So when people are so much different in each of their aspects, both in the mind and the physical body, then definitely the medicine also will be different. So this is the specialty of homeopathy. We give individualized treatment. We tailor the medicines according to the individual's nature. So definitely improvement in all the cases is expected to be faster. And also we expect the complications to be less with homeopathic medications, because there are no side effects with homeopathic medications when it is used the right way. Also, we can avoid these post-COVID symptoms, or we can avoid the post-COVID syndrome by proper treatment with homeopathic medications. So definitely homeopathy is having good scope, at least in the treatment of post-COVID syndrome. Also in the treatment of COVID also, people are showing some interest in the present today.
As we know, homeopathy treatment is most commonly used in Germany. How did Germany overcome COVID?
Yeah, related to country-wise acceptance of homeopathy, I think India is the first country to give much importance to homeopathy. India, being a country with very large population, has a lot of people who support homeopathy and who has got improvement with homeopathy. So I think when we speak about other countries and India, I think India is having better opportunity for homeopathy and has experienced the use of homeopathy well than other countries. Even the birthplace of Germany is also using homeopathy in a very limited way. But we in India has popularized it so much because people have got used to homeopathy, especially in the North India and in some parts of South India, especially in places like Kerala. They are very much used to taking homeopathic medications, and they have found the effects to be so much positive, and that is the reason why it is flourishing so much in India.
Finally, what advice would you like to give to protect ourselves from COVID?
So my suggestion will be to keep your body and mind healthy is the first thing, and to avoid going out to expose yourself to COVID. Don't expose yourself to COVID. Also, if at all you are infected, do not expose others to COVID infection. So to keep your mind and body healthy, you have to do active exercise, have proper diet, and do meditative or yogasanas. Then proper rest is another aspect. Now the complete cycle has changed. The time cycle has completely changed. When people are sleeping, what is the day, what is the night, which day it is of the week. So this has become totally distorted. This is not a good thing. Definitely it will have a long-term effect in the people's health. So before it affects people's health in such ways, try to prevent it. Have healthy habits, maintain your time schedule, eat at proper time, take proper rest, do proper exercise, do your works at home as far as possible, and go out only if it is necessary. And use COVID appropriate behavior like using face masks, using hand sanitizers, and using social distancing. If you follow this, definitely we can save ourselves from having COVID, and we can prevent the further spread of COVID. Yes.
Thanks for spending your valuable time with us, and thank you for providing a valuable information in this pandemic situation. Thank you, Dr. Vivek.
Yeah. Thank you so much for Vinodam TV and Mr. Vinod Raja for giving me this opportunity to speak about COVID and post-COVID syndrome. Thank you so much.